What's up, everybody? T here, back in the kitchen for another edition of Nutrition Weekly. We've made a couple of things on the channel so far. So, I had a breakfast option. We made the salad last week, which is pretty solid for a lunch or something like that. And I figured, what the heck, let's go for the trifecta. Let's hit dinner today. So making a larger meal, something that's a little more sustainable, giving you some more, nutrition and some more bang for your buck. So, what we're going to be making is a ramen with a spicy peanut sauce. So I'm going to take one of these guys out. All we need is one cake of ramen. You can, this is the stuff that I get. You can get whatever type of ramen you like. First, we're going to start with 2 cups of water. All you have to do is put the 2 cups of water into a pot and put that up on the stove to boil. And I am going to make the whole thing through with you so you can see how quick and easy it is to make this meal. And we're going to be making the sauce homemade as well. All right, so we got the water on. Now what we're going to need to do is, those are sauce ingredients, we'll get there in a minute. Going to take some peanuts. I don't really measure these out. I take a handful like this, pop them right down here, and we're going to chop those up. So got to get yourself some type of big knife that's going to work to just chop these up whatever way you like them. I don't like keeping the peanuts to, full for this, so I just like cutting this up. They don't have to be super, super small. I kind of like to just kind of go back and forth a couple of times until they look like, for the most part, they're chopped into quarters, or maybe a little bit smaller than that. This is just going to be a topping. This isn't actually going to go in the sauce. I will say this is somewhat similar to pad thai. I have not had pad thai in a long time, so I don't want to say this is pad thai and have somebody butcher me on the internet and tell me this has nothing to do with pad thai at all. But that's all we're going to need for that. Okay, so now while the water is boiling, we are going to make ourselves the sauce. So you're going to need some type of, I'm just going to use Pyrex container, put this off to the side. So all you're going to need for the sauce are these 3 ingredients right here. You're going to need some cayenne pepper, some tamari sauce, and some peanut butter. So, peanut butter, again, not going to measure this. I take a larger spoon, take a big heaping portion of that, slide that in, and then after that, we are going to measure. So, this is tricky. Depends on how spicy you like things. I like things pretty spicy, but I like my spice to be flavorful. So I'm going to take this. I'm only using 1/4 teaspoon. Really, really small amount. This stuff has a lot of flavor to it. Packs in heat really, really, really well. So it doesn't really take that much, especially just for, one plate of something. So just so you can see what this looks like. That's all I need, just that, okay? So I'm going to put this in on top. I'm going to put in 1 full tablespoon of this. You can also use soy sauce. Tamari is slightly different, but kind of along the same lines. So if you don't have any tamari and you don't want to go out and buy a whole bottle of something you might not use, if you got soy sauce laying around, you can use that as well. So we got 1 full tablespoon of that, and then I'm also going to do 1 tablespoon of water. All right, so now all I'm going to do is use the spoon, kind of spread the peanut butter out a little bit, and then stir it up until it gets a nice, even consistency. This might take a little bit of time for you, depending on the peanut butter you're using. I would, if you want to actually, you could use chunky peanut butter. I personally like the sauce to not have chunks in it, and to just have the peanuts kind of go on the top. But if you wanted to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and just get the chunky peanut butter and throw that on top, then that's fine too. Keep going. Almost there. All right, so I am probably going to add, I'm going to add a 1/2 tablespoon more of water, just to get it a little bit thinner. And you can obviously taste this too. I've made this before, so I know from the flavor standpoint, it's kind of what I'm looking for. But if you want to put a little less pepper in as you're going, and then add more as you see fit. So that's that. You can see it is kind of thick, but this is going to be just fine. So while we're waiting for the water to boil, we'll chat about what's going on next. So once the water's boiling, you're going to take your ramen cake, whatever flavor you got, you're going to throw that into the pot. Once you put this in the pot, it's not going to take that long. I like to just take the top off, leave it on high, let the water boil. Once this is in for about a minute or two, what you're going to want to do is like take a fork and just kind of put it in the water and peel this apart so it kind of breaks itself up. Or else you're going to have like some of the stuff on the top won't get cooked and all the stuff on the bottom will be a little overcooked. So should be boiling pretty soon. We'll throw this in. Once it's done, I'll throw this in a strainer, get the water out, put this into the bowl, and then I'm going to take the peanut sauce that we just made. I'm going to throw that on top. Because the peanut sauce obviously is cold, I'm going to throw all of that in the microwave afterwards for like 30, maybe 40 seconds. All right, water's boiling. Dropping that in. And so far, I think we are at roughly 5 minutes, somewhere right around there. And that should be done in probably like 3 minutes or so. So again, this is kind of going based off of the similar theme that we've been talking about for a couple of weeks now, is the sauce that we just made. So we're talking peanut butter that has nothing in it but peanuts and salt. We've got tamari, which you can look at the ingredients on that if you want to, but there's nothing added in that either. And then we've got our cayenne pepper. You can certainly go out and buy at the grocery store like pre-made spicy peanut sauce or something similar to it. Generally speaking, it's probably going to have added oils in it that you don't need. Probably going to have, definitely going to have added sugars in it that you don't need. So you're putting a whole bunch more stuff in. And I know a lot of people's mindset goes to, I don't have the time, I can't make this, I don't have the ingredients or the knowledge or anything like that. That's what I'm here for. So again, if you're telling me that you don't have 10 minutes to make a meal, that would really surprise me. I live a pretty busy life and don't have a whole lot of time on my hands. So yeah, I don't want to be preparing a 30-minute meal. Personally, I mean, if you've got the time, go for it. But, I'm only making these things and it's not taking me all that long and it's really nutritious. The one thing, I am going to put it in the description below, that I don't have, that I do usually use for this, is I usually sprinkle some cilantro on top as well. And personally, I feel like the spice of the peanut sauce and then kind of that sweet tanginess of the cilantro, just, I don't know, they balance each other out really well. So I like that a lot. I just don't have any with me right now. But again, that's a taste thing, preference, so if you don't want it, that's perfectly fine too. All right, so we're gonna just break this ramen apart real quick. I'm gonna say like 2 more minutes, this ramen's gonna be done. We're gonna throw everything on top, throw it in the microwave, and then we're ready to eat. And that'll be roughly about 10 minutes, maybe just over. So I'm hoping you're finding these things interesting. Hopefully you've been able to try some stuff out on your own. And I will be honest, I am not a chef. I did not get some family recipes that I just was blessed with and lucky with to have. These are things that I have just kind of thrown together, tried stuff myself. It took a little trial and error for sure to figure out some of these recipes and some of the things that I use. But that's part of the fun of it too, in my opinion, is kind of just testing things out and thinking I wonder what flavors would taste good together, and kind of playing around with the spices, playing around with things like lemon juice, lime juice, soy sauce, tamari sauce, things like that, even adding coconut milk to things to thicken things up. So, those are all different things that have so many different flavors. And then when you add the spices in, you've got cayenne pepper or ginger or turmeric or paprika, things like that, that can add so much flavor to your food. And it's all super healthy for you, so you don't have to worry about going out and buying these things that are going to put a whole bunch of extra bad stuff in your body. So I'm hoping you guys are trying these out. At least these recipes, I know for a fact I'm giving to you guys, so hopefully you're using them. But I would love to hear if you've got recipes of your own and like things that you've made from scratch that you think are really good, and you're not like adding a whole bunch of that like extra nonsense in that we don't need. Let me know. Post them down in the comments. You know, let people know what you're doing. All right, looks like we're pretty solid. So we're gonna pop this in the strainer real quick. So let's finish this off. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pop this right in the bowl. We're gonna take, that did thicken up a little bit. I'm just gonna add a tiny bit more water to this. Mix it up. Woo, splashing everywhere. Yeah, usually I don't make it quite so fast. So I usually wait a little bit, but I wasn't sure for you guys what it would be like. All right, so now I'm gonna put all that on top. Nice. And those peanuts that we added, sprinkle those, microwave. Let's go 40 seconds. Why not? See what that does. And yes, I'm gonna eat this right now for dinner. I'm really hungry, so it's gonna be great. But again, this is like pretty filling. It makes a good sized bowl. If you want, there's obviously other things you can put on that too. So, like I said, I like to sprinkle cilantro on top. There have been times where I'll take spinach, I'll dice spinach up, mix that in as well, just to get some greens and get some extra nutrition in there as well. So again, you can kind of play around with it, add what you like to add, take out things if you want to take it out. You know, if you want to switch up the amount of cayenne pepper you're putting in or put something else in with a different flavor, that's perfectly fine too. So it's all for you. Now we take this, I'm gonna mix this all up, and then I will show you the final product in a moment. I will say also, if you wanted to, I mean, this already has, you know, we've got peanut butter.